Rams in the game at bat. Carr, pressure, lets it fly. Going deep, Shaheed. He's got it! Touchdown, New Orleans!
The New Orleans Saints are shocking the world. Like, it's unbelievable what they have done in the first 2 weeks of the season. This offseason, there was no noise or really anyone talking about this team at all. And again, I know it's early, I'm not going to react too much, but Alvin Kamara just had one of the greatest games I've ever seen. And all of a sudden, the Saints are heading into week 3 of the season against the Eagles with something to prove in what should be a super exciting game. In this video, I'm going to talk and break down everything the team has been doing well so far and how they can keep it up over the rest of the season. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. So, how about them Saints? Like, for real, it's not only the fact that they are 2-0, but it's the manner and how they have won both of the games. And really, we've been seeing it happen for a few teams across the league as well. But yeah, what we have been seeing from the Saints is nothing short of stunning. I think so many people happened last year. The Saints did dominate Carolina in week 1, but that didn't really show anybody anything because the Panthers are going to be historically bad this season. I mean, you almost gotta feel bad for Bryce Young because he is struggling to even control his own emotions. That's how bad it is. But then week 2, the Saints had to go to Dallas, who was coming off a dominant win against the Cleveland Browns at the dog pound, so they were feeling pretty good about themselves, forcing Brandon Aubrey to kick a 52-yard field goal. With about 4 minutes to go in the first after the Saints got the ball back, Shaheed house won 70 yards on a really good throw from Carr. And all of a sudden, it was 14-3, and everyone at AT&T Stadium was stunned. But it didn't stop there. The Cowboys did have another field goal early in the second, but then right after, Carr hit Kamara for a huge 57-yard touchdown to put the Saints up 21-6. The Cowboys did respond with a 65-yard bomb touchdown to CeeDee Lamb, a little bit of a breakdown on defense by the Saints, but you knew at some point they were going to have an explosive play offensively, so you can't get too mad about it. With about 6 minutes to go before half, the Saints had a chance to make a big response, and Carr really spread the ball around the field. Olave got involved, Kamara had some big runs, Jamal Williams got a few touches, and they methodically marched down the field, and Kamara punched it in the end zone to go up 28-13. It really does seem like Alvin Kamara is tailor-made for this offense, and as a fantasy owner, he makes me really happy. I think pretty much anyone would have been happy with a 28-13 score going into halftime, but it didn't stop there. Paulson Adebo picked off a 47-yard pass, and then with a minute left in the second, Carr connected for 20 yards with Chris Olave, and then he took it up the middle himself for the 1-yard touchdown to go up 35-13. And after that moment, the Dallas crowd looked a lot like it did against the Packers in the playoffs last year. Aubrey did kick another 48-yard bomb before halftime, but still, the Saints just took the air out of the stadium, and I'm sure Stephen A was loving it.
A resounding victory for them here today. Coming into
The second half was basically just about containing the lead and avoiding doing anything dumb for New Orleans. The Cowboys drove down the field and got another field goal to cut the deficit to 16, but then the Saints went ahead and pretty much removed any of the doubt that could have been left when Alvin Kamara ran down the field and then punched the ball in for a 7-yard touchdown to cap off his incredible and historic day. And shout out to the offensive line for creating holes for him all game long. The O-line most definitely deserves their flowers and a nice steak dinner. The rest of this game was pretty much garbage time. The Saints kicked a field goal to go up 44-19, which ended up being the final score. It's actually unbelievable that they scored 44 in Dallas, and I think it says a lot about what this team could be this season. After they dominated in Carolina, you knew they might be solid, even though it was against the Panthers, but I think we all were waiting to see what would happen against Dallas to legitimize what the narratives of this team should be. And yeah, it's official, the Saints are playoff contenders, and they have a dangerous offense when everything is clicking. This offseason, the big questions were that the Saints were struggling at offensive line, they were having problems at receiver, so why didn't they make any free agency moves to bring in a vet lineman or receiver when the moves they did make were Chase Young, Willie Gay, both defensive guys, when the team was already solid on the defensive side of the ball last year? But I think the answer is that the Saints really were banking on that the personnel they had was good enough. The real problem was the play calling, which has proved to be true so far into the young season. The Saints tied a franchise record by scoring 35 points in the first half and are the only team that has yet to trail this season, according to ESPN research. Just speaking for the offense, when you're able to go out there and execute, limit the self-inflicted wounds, have explosive plays, like man, the sky's the limit, Kamara said. It feels good right now, obviously. You know me. I'm not too into the hype. It's a win, but we've got to keep moving. I thought he was awesome again, Allen said of Kamara, who now has 4 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown this season. Allen said he never doubted him at age 29. He thought he had a lot more left to give. I felt like he was still an explosive player, and I think we're utilizing him in a way that allows him to be effective. Here is more of what Kamara himself and other people had to say about his dominant performance.
It's definitely refreshing and just it's real dope to see, like, you know, who that nation's still in support out here, no matter what's going on, you know, back at home. So definitely shout out to them. Clint called it right on time. O-line did their job, and I think we just had a great play. I mean, all the way around. It felt like a practice rep. It was just a great play call.
And I think fans over there are really starting to hit the panic button. As for New Orleans, looking ahead, as I mentioned earlier, next week is against the Eagles at home in what should be a super intriguing matchup. I mean, if Carr and Kamara can go into that game and dominate, and all of a sudden the Saints are 3-0 with 3 statement wins, I think the buzz is, let's just say, the buzz is gonna be buzzing. And they will be a team that really everybody got to eat. Shaheed had 96 yards and a touchdown, Olave had 81 yards, Kamara had 65, which is a ton for a running back, and then defensively, the Saints did a fantastic job of holding the Cowboys to only 3 throughout the game. That right there is something that if they can keep up this season, will take them to where they want to go. Here is what the media and some of the other players had to say in their post-game interviews following this win.
That all I know is that you know, we believe in one another, and we had a really hard offseason. We had a really hard training camp. You could ask anybody in there. It was the workouts, the practices. It was tough. It was really hard, but it led for moments like this. And so, you know, there were probably days where we were pissed at DA or something like that. You know, for man, gosh, what pads again? This, you know, like all football players gripe about. But I guarantee you now, every single man in that locker room is thankful for those hard days, for the way that we've started this year. But again, we're thankful for the start, get off to a fast start. But as we all know, like next week's a whole different test. So
that's all I got for this one. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed it and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And let me know in the comments below what you thought about how the Saints played this game. Also, one more thing, let me know what you guys would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.